Well, hey guys, this is Josh Nelson with the Seven Figure Agency, and I have a webinar coming up this afternoon at 2 p.m. for our agency, Plumbing and HVAC SEO. And I've done a lot of trainings over the years on how to leverage webinars to really get yourself in front of your ideal prospects and get customers coming to you pre-positioned to buy. And so I thought it'd be great, since I have my webinar coming up. I've got about 157 plumbing, HVAC business owners and marketers in our niche registered. Thought it'd be a great time to just kind of pause and walk you through the process, walk you through the kind of the mental rationale behind doing these types of webinars on a consistent basis. So let me just share my screen here real quick. So this is the registration page. The webinar we're running is what we call the new SEO formula for plumbing and HVAC businesses. As an agency, we work with plumbing and HVAC contractors, really helping them maximize their lead flow online with the initial thought process of set up a good website, get it ranked organically, and then leverage paid search, and then put the tracking in place. And in order to get prospects in that niche to be interested in us and to kind of come to us pre-positioned to buy, we found that doing webinars on a consistent basis works really well. So just real quick, I'll walk you through one thing that's been a powerful game changer for us in terms of the why behind webinars. So if you follow what we kind of show you here in the Seven Figure Agency program, and kind of what we teach and how we grew and scaled our agency, you should choose a niche, you should position yourself as the expert in that space, and then you should put marketing strategies in place to get customers coming to you pre-positioned to buy. And one of the things is to start building a list of people within your space. So let's just say you're an agency and you decide you're going to target roofing companies, right? Or let's say you're going to target dentists. Ideally, you get a list of dental, companies in the dental industry. You'll join the dental association. You'll put out some great content about how to market a dental company online with SEO and social media and pay-per-click advertising, right? And you'll get prospects that raise their hand and say, hey, I'm kind of interested in what it is that you do because you work with dentists just like me. But over time, they're going to have been exposed to you once, twice, but not everybody buys. And so you have to be coming up with relevant content and remaining top of mind with them on a very consistent basis. A lot of times when we talk webinars, people think, well, I'll do a webinar and I'll put it up there and I'll make it automatic, and that's the end of it, right? And I'll just keep inviting people into that webinar. Well, eventually, people sit on the webinar and they don't buy, right? So you have to continually be putting relevant information in front of them. And so that's where webinars and new webinars on a consistent basis about each of the different topics that you might do becomes really relevant. So maybe your core webinar is about overall internet marketing strategies for dentists, right? And you get the top 7 things every dental clinic should be doing to get more patients and more profits, right? That could be your core webinar, and you set that up on automatic replay. But then, to remain relevant and to create great content on a consistent basis, you kind of splinter out all the topics from that webinar. So you could do one on how to set up your dental practice website to convert at the highest level possible, right? And just do a mini session on that. You could do one on how to get your dental practice ranked on Google Maps, a webinar on that particular topic. You could do one on how to optimize your dental website to rank, not just for dentists, but for all of your different procedures, maybe your higher ticket procedures like dental implants and Invisalign and braces and those types of things, right? And as you start to splinter your content, you start to think, hey, wow, I could do a lot of really interesting webinars that are relevant. And so that's what we've done. In our plumbing HVAC space, we've got our core presentation, but then we've got new webinars we do every single month. And the reason we do webinars on a consistent basis is because we've got the list, and we want to nurture the list because we know a lot of people aren't ready to buy today, but if we remain in constant contact with them and give them value-added information, blog posts, audios, webinars, then when they are ready, they know us, like us, trust us, perceive us to be the experts, and come to us really kind of pre-positioned to buy. And so really, the reason you do this is it gives you a reason to email your list multiple times throughout the month. So in the absence of webinars or good content, you can only really email once. Like, hey, prospect name, I've got this new ebook, right? Go read it. Or, hey, I did this new case study. Go check it out. But if you do a live webinar, you can send an email inviting them to the webinar. Hey, I've got a webinar coming up on this topic, which they should find relevant. You can send them at least one email to remind them, hey, the webinar's about to start. I sent you an invite and wanted to make sure you don't miss it. And then you can email them after the webinar. Hey, I did this webinar on, how to get your dental practice ranked on page 1 on Google and thought you'd like to check it out. Here's a replay. So we do a lot more than that. I'm going to show you kind of what we do in our webinar setup, but that's 3 reasons to email your list with relevant information added content. From there, it drives multiple streams of content, right? So you're going to have the live webinar, which some people attend and they're rapt attention. And of course, when you've got somebody's attention for any span of time, that's the most powerful way to communicate. But really, for a lot of the agencies I deal with and talk with, as you're getting started, it's easy to get hung up and easy to get concerned that, man, I'm doing this webinar and nobody's showing up. Or I don't want to do a webinar if I think no one's going to show up. Well, the fact is, the way you start to build an audience is by putting out great content. And then people will start to follow you and they want to attend your webinars and they want to see what you're up to. So I would really encourage you, create the content even if nobody's watching or you think nobody's going to watch. Because you're going to get all the other content that I'm going to show you, right? So once the webinar is done, of course, you record it, and then you take that video and you can put it up on YouTube. Now you got a place where your topic, how to get your dental practice ranked on Google Maps, how to set up a dental website for maximum conversion, how to leverage social media advertising to attract new patients, right? These are all topically relevant. Once you've done the webinar, you've got it up on YouTube. Another cool thing you could do is slice it up into component parts. So if you did talk about, let's say, how to leverage social media for dental practices or social media advertising, you could, you probably had to break that into component parts, right? There was a part about how to set up targeting, and then there was a part about how to set up your ads, and then there was a part about the offer, and how to set up an offer that really works within dentistry. And so if that was your 5-point presentation, you could wind up with 5 separate videos, all leading back to you, all leading back to the logical conclusion that most of these companies have, which is, this guy seems to know what he's doing. He seems to be an expert in my type of business, and I'm not going to do it, so why don't I contact him and see how much it would cost to have him do it for me? So, there's a lot of power in doing this. Obviously, once you've done the webinar and you've got the video, then you can create a blog post, embed the video, maybe embed the slides, put some content out there. So that's a blog post on your website, creating inbound relevancy. You can take the audio file from the webinar, which is just an MP3, and convert that into a podcast episode. So, if you follow Plumbing HVAC SEO at all, or you kind of see how our main agency is run, that's what we do, right? We create a webinar, we record the webinar, we put it up on YouTube, and then we've got a podcast, the Plumbing and HVAC Marketing Podcast, and a lot of the episodes are just the audio files from our webinars. And people find it interesting, they find it relevant, and they're able to listen to it in a different modality. Then you can have the content transcribed through any variety of transcription services, and upload the slides to SlideShare. So this creates like this massive momentum of content that you're able to create with one webinar. And if you're doing it on a consistent basis, you're building your list, you're communicating with them on a consistent basis, you're putting out relevant information, and then you can also use social media before the webinar. Hey, I got this webinar coming up. Hey, to increase the consumption of the content. So hey, I just completed the webinar, you might have missed it. Here's a replay of it. So then webinars are extremely powerful to further position yourself. And if you think about it in this context, you have the ability to create great new content and remain really top of mind on a consistent basis. So again, we run typically 7 or 8 webinars in our niche on a monthly basis, kind of breaking it down topically like I just explained. And the webinar we have coming up later today is the new SEO formula for plumbing and HVAC businesses. This is like the 4th or 3rd webinar in our series that we do. And it's all set up on ClickFunnels. So this is just a regular opt-in page. They opt in, and then this is the sequence that we use to promote the webinar. We found that at least 3 to 4 emails leading up to the webinar works really well. We use Infusionsoft. You can do the same kind of thing in ActiveCampaign or Agile CRM. There's lots of tools to do this, but ultimately we queue up our emails in advance. Picture of the what the topic is, bullet points on why webinars are valuable, how they're useful. The topic we're covering. So in this case, how to get ranked on page 1, the things that are changing with the Google algorithm, secret techniques to build links that your competition doesn't know about. So they're like, oh man, even though I'm a plumber in my case, and I don't really think I know how to do this stuff, I don't believe I'm going to learn it, I want to understand what it is and what it's about. And so that's how we're able to aggregate their attention. And so you can see, I run my webinars at this point on Zoom. I've used lots of tools throughout the years, but I like Zoom because it's got the ability to show my screen. I'm able to go live while the actual live webinar is taking place. And this is the webinar we've got set up later today, and we've got 153 people registered for the webinar. So, simple strategy, right? Build your list, put together information, content that the people in your prospect database will find interesting, and then promote new webinars on a consistent basis, and then syndicate that content after the webinar to get full maximized value and consumption and lead flow. Now, one trick that we've used that's worked really well to get strategy sessions right out of the gates is, rather than on this registration page taking them to a confirmation. So somebody registers for the webinar. In most cases, you're going to land on a page that says, hey, you're registered for the webinar. Go check your email and we'll see you on the live webinar. Well, what I know is right now only about 30 to 40% of the people that register for webinars actually attend. And the fact is, I could care less whether they attend or not. Well, what I really want is for them to raise their hand and give us the opportunity to look at their business, look at their online marketing strategy, and walk them through how we can help them and really land them as a client, right? That's why you do webinars, right? This is why, as an agency, you put out this kind of content to get top of mind with prospects, to get their attention, and ultimately get the opportunity to get them as a client. And so what we did is in this registration process, after they register, instead of taking them to a dead page that just says, you're confirmed, add it to your calendar, what we do is we play a video that offers them a strategy session. So this is a great technique that works really well. And of the 153 people that have registered so far, 7 of them, before attending the webinar, probably won't attend the webinar, jump straight to, I'd like to have you look at my stuff and show me how it works. And really, that's what we're after. Obviously, some people are going to sit on the webinar and then schedule a strategy session. Some people are going to watch the replay and schedule a strategy session. But this is a great way to shortcut that, knowing you're targeting business owners. They're busy. There's a lot of things competing for their attention. When they register, you've got their undivided attention. And so at that moment, on your thank you page, make sure you offer them the opportunity to schedule a one-on-one strategy session with you. So that's the scoop. That's kind of our setup for this webinar promotion. If you have questions, we'd love to see the comments in the comments box. That's kind of what we show agency owners how to do, right? We show you guys, if you're looking to grow an agency, get customers coming to you, pre-positioned to buy, scale your agency in a really effective way. We show you how to choose a niche, position yourself as the expert, and then get customers coming to you pre-positioned to buy using things like lead magnets and webinars and webinar follow-up sequences. If you're interested in that, definitely check out sevenfigureagency.com/get started or sevenfigureagency.com/video. There we got a video series that will walk you through how we grew our agency to the Inc. 5000 list 2 years in a row, how we were able to grow from just me and my business partner to about $3.5 million per year, over $300,000 per month in recurring revenue, all by choosing a niche, positioning ourselves as the experts, and then really proactively marketing to our chosen niche and getting them great results. So hopefully you got value from this. Would love to see your comments in the comments box. And I'll see you again on a future video.